Is fast fashion cheap for real? Let's check it out in this video. Hi, I'm Laiana, eco-stylist and founder of Unported. I help women to build their dream wardrobe without harming the planet or the wallet. To get there, you need to know the true cost of clothes you buy at fast fashion brands such as H&M, Zara and Boohoo. For example, that $5 t-shirt you bought last time actually costs more than $5. How come? Stick around, I'm gonna explain this. To make it easier to understand, I'll make a comparison between two different industries, fashion and hospitality. Have you ever questioned yourself why a piece of clothing can cost the same price or even lower than an average meal you buy at a restaurant? Can you justify why you pay $20 to eat a meal and only $5 to buy a t-shirt? Let's roughly analyze the costs involved to make these two things. I'm able to do this because I have worked in both industries. Firstly, the costs of a meal at a restaurant. Rent, taxes, ingredients to prepare the meal, staff salaries such as chefs, managers, and waiters. Now, think of the costs involved in manufacturing a t-shirt. Rent of the factory, taxes, materials such as fabric, trims, salaries of fashion designer, pattern makers, managers, seamstresses, and other garment workers. As you might notice, manufacturing clothes sounds more complex and involves more costs than cooking a meal at a restaurant. In addition, clothes are consumer goods and are supposed to use for a longer period of time. Conversely, a meal is consumed only once. How on earth is it possible that a t-shirt can be sold cheaper than a meal and the business is still having profit? The answer is simple. That meal you paid $20 was made locally, which means that is under regulation of local government. There are human rights and labor laws making sure the work conditions and wages are fair, while the $5 t-shirt production is done in bulk and far away from where it's sold. Generally speaking, they are made in developing countries such as China, India, and Bangladesh. Multinational companies arrive in these countries where the workforce is already very cheap. Then, they ask local businesses and factories to get even cheaper production so they can offer more competent prices. Here is an example. Brand X sells their t-shirt for $5, but the brand Y sells them for $4. So, brand X come next and say, hey, brand Y is selling them for $4, we need them cheaper. The business owners in developing countries are always finding themselves in the situation of squeezing the prices. If the country doesn't accept these terms, they are risking the industry to leave. Consequently, taking away jobs positions and making them even poorer. And this is how modern slavery is created. The fashion factories cut corners by reducing wages, increasing labor hours, hiring children, and avoiding maintenance and renovation of their buildings. As a result, workers are exploited and forced to risk their lives by working in hazardous environments to earn around $3 per day. And you know what? 8% of these workers are females like us. These females modern slaves are the ones who are paying the excess of your $5 t-shirt receipt. But that's not the end. Besides the human social cost, there is the environmental cost. Our planet has paid a high excess of that $5 receipt. For example, the cotton necessary to make that t-shirt at low price was quickly farmed in larger scale by using chemical and toxic substances that contaminated the soil. Not to mention fabric dyeing, toxins being released into rivers and contaminating water streams. This endless pollution and depletion of nature affect us, human beings, since the food we eat comes from that contaminated soil and is irrigated with water from contaminated rivers. Studies prove that mental illnesses and cancer cases have significantly increased as a consequence of soil and water contamination. As you can see, the t-shirt price is higher than $5. It's higher than everything we can imagine or calculate. It's an intangible cost. And it's not charged when you buy the clothes, but it's charged later on. And you don't pay by yourself. All the community pays together. But Liana, what can I do to change this? It seems to be a huge and complex problem. Listen, despite it seems we cannot reach out to solve those problems, there are many ways we can help. My first suggestion to fight the abuses of fast fashion companies is to express your indignation to local authorities, especially when the elections are close. Urge for laws that regulate and penalize companies for bringing to your country products made without meeting human rights and sustainable standards. Secondly, contact the clothing brands you consume and tell them that you care about the people who make your clothes and you'd like to know who they are, under what conditions they work, and if they receive fair wages. It can be done through email, social media messages, or even when you go and visit their stores. Make sure you are communicating that message. The more people do this, the more fast fashion brands realize that consumers are really aware of these problems and they need to change the way they treat their suppliers. Make the voice of these seamstresses heard through your voice. Vote with your money. Every time you buy something of a certain brand, you are sending them the following message: good job, keep it up, I'll be back to buy. That's why we should buy from brands that produce clothes locally. Brands you are sure they follow the rules. Avoid shopping at fast fashion stores. If they find that sales are falling even at cheap prices, they understand that something needs to be done to get the business back on track. Of course, buying from local brands that treat people and the environment fairly is more expensive than fast fashion, since you are paying the real price. Maybe you are not able to buy the same amount of pieces that you buy in fast fashion, but you can definitely invest in a few quality clothes that will last much longer and use them more often. If you cannot afford to pay for sustainable brands, that's fine. Simply take care and use more clothes you already have so that you take advantage of their full potential. You can also buy second-hand or swap your clothes with friends. That's the way I help. I'm not in a position to buy clothes from sustainable brands, so I buy second-hand, and when I want to renew my wardrobe, I exchange my clothes with other people at Unported. It's a virtual clothing swap community on Instagram. If you live in Australia, you are invited to come and swap with us. I could be talking much more about this topic here, however, I think this video is already too long and dense enough. I believe it's very important to pass on this information so that you become conscious of the real value of the clothes you wear. This is the only way we can fight for a better planet and fair future for garment workers. So today, your like, comment and share are more important than ever to make this video reach more people. Are you with me? So hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the next videos. See you next time!